Beautiful people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have the best formations tiers updated in FC24. Run it up in the comment section. Best and worst formations. It could get controversial. That's kind of how we like to stir it up. Broken, rank 1, foot champs, debatable, in the pine. I think it's self-explanatory. Some of these formations ain't gonna stand a chance. 3-1-4-2. It's easy for me to downplay or to discredit a lot of 3 at the backs and 5 at the backs. I never liked 5 at the backs in general. And then the fact that EA this year went out on a limb. They made a big statement. Never done this before. In fact, we made a video discussing in competitive play, 3 at the back and 5 at the back formations have both been banned, removed, excluded. You will not see them in action. I'm not going to necessarily take that into consideration with where I'm placing the formations, but 3-1-4-2 is not making it into any of my rotations. I'm going to jump around. I like the false 9. It's a fun formation. You can interject. It reminds me of the Spanish national team with all that success. Fabregas, Iniesta, Xavi. You did have a Fernando Torres. You did have a David Villa. Pedro might have been the forgotten offensive player. You got Sergio Busquets. The guys were so interchangeable. Were you not impressed? I also just realized I look more American than I have ever looked in a video right now. Your boy loves a windbreaker. 'Tis the season. 4-2-1-3. I've been using it. I've had success. I did not expect it. It might have to do a little bit with tactics. I will say this on record. I don't know that we've had a previous installment that has been more focused on formations and tactics and the importance. I always say they're not miracle workers, but how you set up your team from a tactical standpoint, from offensive, defensive instructions, the back-end customality. I think I just made up a word. Hashtag organics. It makes the world of a difference. Truly. 4-2-2, I hate going up against that formation. It feels like an engineer. You know where players are going to be. It creates spacing. There's always counterattack opportunities. Defensively, those 2 holding mids, they don't move out of pocket. In fact, on record, those guys that just let the AI run it up with a couple Contes in the middies, I'm not talking highly of those individuals. 4-3-3-2, it doesn't move me. I can understand if you push it into a debate, if you push it into the pine, if you push it into foot champs. I would be surprised if you told me rank 1 or broken. So if I'm saying it can go foot champs or it can go to the pine, debatable is the perfect intersection. 3-5-2, fun formation. But again, it's banned from pro play, but we're not all trying to become pros. You still got that triangle action. Offense is there. You got wingers overlapping. You can whip in crosses. You can purposefully have additional runners. Makes for a certain level of playbook. That might be a shout out to the second channel if you want the gameplay at the playbook. It's linked down below. 4-2-3-1, second variation. Pretty stiff. Should it be better than debatable? It's more of a closeout. It's situational. I find it so boring. And we're not dealing with a game that has a bunch of offensive greatness. In fact, if anything, if you're moving your players well, that means your player locking everywhere. And that might be the biggest difference between pro gameplay and even high-level normality is the player lock, dragging players, manual runs, bunch of step overs. These are little separations that allow you to still create regular or constant offense in a game that doesn't have the supporting movement naturally. And I wish that it did. I miss that organic support runs and the triangles and the tiki-taka, the pass and move. There's a certain fluidity that I love to support. I'm a gameplay guru. 4-3-2-1 to the top. Has to be. Maybe the best when you're talking about broken right now because you can play it where it looks almost like a 4-4-2 attacking, but then defensively, it can shift into a different formation. You can do a lot, again, with the instructions and the general positioning, and I don't think anyone would go against saying the 4-3-2-1 not only is one of the most popular, but it's also one of the most dangerous and deadly formations. I'm making it sound like it's an animal that's coming for you. You don't want to deal with this. 4-1-4-1, another closeout formation. Not that innovative. And in a game where I find that offense is difficult for many folks, the 4-1-4-1 has never been impressive for me. But again, if you're seeing out a game, situational, last 10 minutes, hold the ball, stack the bodies, I understand. 4-3-3-4. I don't know that it truly deserves rank 1, but I enjoy it. Bodies are pressing. You can turn on a little bit of that heavy touch after possession loss. You can pin people in. 1 pass, 2 pass. You feed the attacking midfield. You let them wiggle, let them work, let them orchestrate, let them dominate, let them have those team talks, those crucial moments. Can you tell that I've had some experience? I wouldn't be mad, though, if you said you wanted a different look. It's a little more high risk, high reward, but I like it. The regular 4-3-3 is kind of solid. Not necessarily a formation that naturally resonates with yours truly, but I've gone up against so many good, I mean solid 4-3-3, turn the game on, line up the tactics, play the way that you're facing, keep it sensible, keep it simple. How they teach it, they write it up. 4-4-2, the second variation, got to be at least foot champs. Depending who you talk to, they might move this up a notch. The big change is the 2 midfielders sit a little bit further, a little deeper. It's similar to a 4-2-2. Maybe it's not right that I have that in broken and then I have this in foot champs, but I feel a difference. Even when I go up against different oppositions, I struggle a lot more against the 4-2-2. That's the reality. I don't make the rules. Surprisingly, the 4-2-4 has been on the come up. You would think that this is impossible to make work from a positioning standpoint, from naturalizing, getting different citizenships and formation, accountability, understanding, mastery, expertise. Seen a lot of 4-2-4, not just at the end of the game. I'm just throwing it out there. 4-5-1, I feel like I could never co-sign it. Never screaming off the rafters. I don't have a positive demeanor or cadence toward the formation. I threw this out early, but I don't think any 5 at the back is going to get love from yours truly. I just don't like what it stands for. I don't enjoy how people use the 5 at the backs. I'm happy about the ban or the reduction or the removal or the less forced or regularity of a 5 at the back. And for that reason, I'm going to toss a 3 at the back there. The 3-4-3 has always been gross, not in a good way. It's something with the spacing. It never has synergy. Almost feel like each of my players were on their own island, and those islands don't communicate. They don't interconnect. 4-4-2, I definitely got a lot of appreciation, a lot of love, tons of experience, too much experience. You do need the right personnel. I'm giving it broken, but you need the right midfielders to make this come together fully. If your midfielders start getting out of pocket, out of position, someone's surfing and turfing, they're pushing through your middies, you are going to be in unfortunate circumstances more often than not. But if you have the personnel, there you go. 4-1-2-1-2. 2 is back. Finally, we can pass again in the middle of the pitch. That was the latest update. It's not perfect, but you can ping it around because there were multiple weeks. I mean, maybe a month and a half, 6 weeks of no central passing. The game released, if you recall, and we had something that felt new, felt different. People were getting accustomed to it. A lot of different ways to score, all sorts of defensive error. I was pretty happy. I'll be honest. I definitely looked forward to the future. It felt different. There was a certain energy or aroma, an ambiance in the air. Either way, we had a patch that reverted, made everything go through the wings. Didn't love that. Offense, mechanically, struggle central. And now the newest of patches, now we can ping it around a little bit again. 4-4-1-1. It's too similar to 4-4-2 to not have in foot champs. And if you wanted to, make that center forward, stay central, and you basically have a 4-4-2, at least on paper. 4-5-1, second coming. I already talked about the first one. I don't like the formation. I don't like either of them. They look normal. When you sit there and you go into tactics, you pull it up, stare it down. I say the 4-5-1 should be great, especially the first variation, the normal. They don't align. They're managerial independent. It does not work. 3-4-2-1. Fun formation. You're going to score a lot of goals. You're going to concede a lot of goals. I'm not mad at that. You got a lot of options going forward. You can overload, offload. It gets dangerous. And that counter press, also deadly. But there will be so much space for your opposition if they get past you. The 4-1-2-1-2, the classic, I still prefer the narrow, especially defensively. I just think I box it in better. But I know that a lot of folks, they've been a bystander, and now they're taking part in the 4-1-2-1-2, the classic, with the wingers. 5-4-1, second variation. I don't even know if I got the first variation down there yet, but it will be joining. If anything, we can speed run this. The 5-2-3, no. 5-2-2-2-1. It's difficult for me to give you supportive analytical positions with the 5 at the backs. I'm just so anti that movement. Am I a hater? Probably. I'm an open hater of 5 at the back, and I don't think I'm the only one. And we already have so much toxicity in our community. You add in the 5 at the back guys, and they just start doing stuff. They're going to have one counter attack, and then they're going to gritty for 30 seconds and maybe start pausing the game for you to quit out early. That's the type of energy they're on. That's the type of vibe. I don't like it. So I'm still getting rid of all the 5s. The 5-2-1-2 is one of the better 5 at the backs because you have the support in the middle and then the overlapping runs. I'm just not going to move from my initial stance. I said I'm not rocking with them. 3-4-1-2, another fun formation. I'm going to throw that into the debate. Seems like we're doing a lot of debating. 4-1-3-2, I'm not as familiar with. Maybe I need to do a deeper dive. Some of you could tell me if you liked it. It's one of those funky formations that looks sort of odd. 4-2-3-1, classics. They stay true, strong-willed. To this day, still one of the best, if not the best balanced or slightly defensive formation. If you're just picking up the title, it was gifted for Christmas, I would start with the 4-2-3-1. It'll tell you a lot about yourself, gives you more time on the ball, and then you can tactically adjust based on that formation. Just tactics in general. There's not been a year that I have not used the 4-2-3-1, and that can be said for any broken or rank 1 formations. And I'm not saying that I haven't used the other formations. I use them all. 4-3-1-2, I'm going to link that up with the 4-1-2-1-2. Relatively similar. It's just a holding midfielder difference. Everything else, triangles for days, through balls for ages. Through ball merchants, this is for you. Run them back, push them forward. Run them back, push them forward. 4-3-3-3. It's a lot of 3s. I'm going to throw that in the debate. Again, if you're co-signing and you're one of those people that's super gung-ho on 4-3-3 variations, you'll have a different take. You have a different opinion. You might put all of them at least at foot champs, and then a couple will work their way up to a rank 1 or even a broken, because that's where you maximize your time, your investment. You are a 4-3-3 connoisseur. And last but not least, we have the 4-4-1-1 second variation. I am going to toss that into the debate. It's again that wide version of the same formation, and I just prefer them more narrow. Even though it's not narrow, you still have plenty of width. If you have any questions in regards to these formations, send them my way. Fire off in the comment section. I'm always interested in your opinions, even the tactical setup or the instructions that you use. Sometimes it deals with the team that you have. I'll be very transparent, especially this year where we've seen better teams at earlier stages than ever before. It's never happened previously. It makes it where certain formations and tactical approaches are more valuable, but it's based on your personnel, or less valuable, again, based on your personnel. There's more videos on screen, and as always, I have a lot more content coming out for you ASAP.